Welcome back everyone to another Company of Heroes 2 Replay Cast, and this time we are gonna have a 3v3 on no, that's not Elbrooks, this is Angermünde, right? Yes, it's been a while since I've seen this map. Anyway, 3v3 sent in by Kvas, and his buddies are gonna be HBDB and KA40K. Damn, these are names. Anyway, so there's gonna be 3 Soviets up against 3 Germans, of course, but 1 Wehrmacht Felix 17, 2 Wehrmacht Clint Eastwood. Well, that's gonna be dangerous, and Maximizer as 1 OKW. So this is actually a triple Soviet on Angermünde. I cannot see this going too well. Anyway, so we have Klaus going in for a second run. Well, he's going for some conscripts, and he's not using his manpower. Dick. Anyway, his buddies are gonna go for the tier 2, and this guy went for tier 1, right? No, Kvas went for tier 1. That's why he wasn't using his manpower, is because he was waiting for penals. Okay, so of course that's gonna be okay in the early game, but he's gonna have to be afraid of the OKW guys. Luke's. Anyway. The Germans are going for machine gun, cube wagon, so pretty standard. Looks like the Stern Pioneers are going to try to get some shots in on these conscripts, but the conscripts smartly getting back into the building. Angermünde, of course, a map with a lot of buildings, so you're going to have to probably go for a mortar at some point or another. Or something that can kind of counter buildings and garrisons. As you can see, already the MG42 coming up for Clint Eastwood. He's gonna set that up and probably suppress these conscripts from Kvas. Yep, he's probably not gonna have a fun time here. Probably should retreat. In fact, definitely should retreat. Yep. Right now, combat engineers are there. Combat engineers, I think, are going to try to get into this building to prevent the Germans from doing that, and then wait for the penals to come in and relieve them. In the north, we have a combat engineer squad, and the combat engineers, of course, getting suppressed by another machine gun. So, Germans doing quite well with their MG42s. The Allies really need to start to get their game going, and will start to, in some way, counter those. Otherwise, well, we're not going to have a good time. There goes the Pioneers. Well done by the combat engineers, actually. However, this machine gun is going to suppress the penals quite easily, even though they're in heavy cover. I think that they're going to get suppressed, because that's usually what happens. So, well, looks like he's going to get lucky and not get suppressed in heavy cover, as it's supposed to work. Wow. Company of Heroes 2 doing its job. That's something I've never heard of. Anyway, nice flank coming in from HBDB, but he's going to face quite a stiff resistance from all of these German units scattered about these streets. So, of course, Stern Pioneers, well, in the open, taking a lot of damage. Fox Grenadiers in the open, taking a lot of damage from the conscripts, but Flame Grenade is going to push back these conscripts. Conscripts are also in the open. They do kill the Sternpile, but if they retreat right now, they're not going to die themselves. Of course, they don't, and so they're probably going to die. Although they take a weird retreat path, which might save them. I thought that they would have gone through the street. They're going to die anyway. Yep. Negative cover all over. And the second conscript squad gets picked up by the cube wagon, so well done there. For Maximizer. That's basically the end of HDBD, or HBDB, as a force. In the center, penals trying to push up, but as you can see, they get absolutely plastered by a rifle grenade while they were getting suppressed by the machine gun. So this is also at the end of Kvas as a force. He's only got his sniper and conscript squad left. Basically, he has lost his combat engineers, he has lost his penals, and this is pretty bad. Also, his sniper is in negative cover, so he should be pretty careful. Of course, he was trying to get up to snipe the machine gun, but of course, Grenadiers rushing forward to try to put an end to this annoying Soviet marksman. They're not going to have that much success, but the sniper has to retreat just to avoid getting himself his face full of lead from Kar 98Ks. In the meantime, yeah, Maxim coming in from the side from K40K, who seems to be the one that's doing the best out of all the allies. Not only has he managed to kind of push up to his sort of middle area, he's supporting Kvas. He's also trying to put in some pressure against Felix, who is very, very defensive right now. And, of course, that's very much playing to the advantage of K4OK, who is flooding the center with his units. Of course, it's not enough to save Kvas, who had some trouble with this MG42. And right now there's a mortar on the field for Clint Eastwood, so not only he has the sort of superiority in stopping the enemy in defensive measures, he's also got the mortar that can deal with any stalemate by bombarding the enemy. So fixes them with the machine gun, bombs them with the mortar. We'll see if the allies can deal with this. These conscripts should really get out. They're just taking free damage from the machine gun, which has superior range compared to the conscripts. And apparently the conscripts didn't even see the machine gun, and there goes a free wipe on the conscript squad. Of course, at least K4OK is trying to at least counter-mortar the Granatwerfer, but it's shooting at the machine gun, so, well, not having the best of times, and it looks like the Maxim over here is taking fire from 2 different mortars, so both Felix and Clint Eastwood's mortars getting in on the action. On the right, as you can see, we have a pretty great push by Maximizer. The problem is, here comes a super clown car from HDBD. HBDB. Okay, right. So he's gone for the Tankovi Battalion Command, and he has put 2 Flamer Engineers on the M5 half-track, which actually works because you can use both Flamers from the back of the half-track, plus this thing has more HP, is more resilient, and it's got a 50 caliber machine gun as opposed to a 30 caliber machine gun, so it's just insanely strong as a clown car. Of course, it usually comes in very, very late, but at this point, 6.5 minutes into the game, this can be relatively effective, as you can see. Wipes out one of the Volksgrenadier squads already at the first moment, and this Volksgrenadier squad is not long for this world either, absolutely blazing away with all those guns and the flamethrowers, and doing quite well. Of course, with 2 combat engineers to repair it, it's not really fearing Panzerfaust all that much. And then later, once it gets countered by heavier vehicles or the proliferation of anti-tank weapons, it starts to be, well, phased out. But you can always upgrade it into a half-track, which can be useful against enemy infantry. It can be useful with suppression. It's also, of course, quite decent against enemy planes. So, all pretty good. And, ooh, looks like a scout car is coming in to try to counter this, but I'm not sure it's going to be able to. I mean, it's got a 50 caliber. It's got a lot of guys firing through from the top, but okay, here comes the Panzerfaust. Panzerfaust gonna come through. One Panzerfaust hits the vehicle, and of course that's gonna mean the end. Well done by I think that's Clint Eastwood, but the 222 is in trouble. It might die, although, oh, no anti-tank grenades. No anti-tank grenades means that this guy is going to survive, and it's also going to mean that the Panzer II Lux is going to have basically free reign over the right side of the map. Of course, as soon as Kvas sees what is happening, he retreats his penals. And right now, yeah, the allies need AT. They absolutely do. So Kvas going for the Tankovi Battalion Command maybe would want to go for a Su-76M. In the center, couple of mortars trying to help out against this machine gun and the German mortars, but it's not working out. The Germans are just absolutely smashing them to bits. They're forcing them away. The building is collapsing. They don't, well, they can't really defend the VP, and the right side is being crashed essentially by the Lux. The Lux, however, is in sort of trouble. I mean, there's a penal squad in here that's upgrading the PTRSs. The sniper, however, is in bigger trouble, and it's gonna get chased down like a dog by the Lux, and the Lux probably can chase it down and kill it without fear of retribution. I mean, we have a penal battalion upgrading with the PTRSs over here, but it's just not enough. And right now, it does not have the anti-vehicle satchel charges because it does not have those PTRSs. This Maxim machine gun can do absolutely jack shit against the Lux, and so the Lux is just going to end its run of doom by destroying another conscript squad. No, stay there and destroy the conscript squad. What the heck are you doing? Oh my god. Okay, whatever. For some reason, the Lux decided to not do that. For some reason. Anyway, the Allies are not in a good way. The Germans have a much superior VP count. The Germans have more map control. The Germans are winning all the engagements, and the Germans are the Germans. So late game, of course, they do have a little bit of an advantage. Good things for the Allies. Let's try to go over them. Well, I mean, Are there any good things for the Allies? They have less fuel caches. They have more munitions caches. So they have 5 more munitions income. Let's check out, no doctrines picked by any players except Felix, who went for German mechanized. That is an interesting doctrine indeed. Well, I would say that the Germans are essentially playing 2v3 because Felix on the left-hand side is not really doing anything. Let's check out the damage dealt. And we'll see that Felix, as you can see, 1,349 damage versus 4,500, 4,250. So he's definitely not joining the fight. So that's a positive for the Allies. Or, well, it's also kind of a negative, though, because if they're losing already, and they're losing already against 2 enemy players. So what happens when the 3rd one gets into the fray? It can't be good. Anyway, well, Kvas has tier 3 and tier 4. So he might want to go for T-34-76. I feel like that would be very, very good right now. It would counter the Lukes, it would counter the scout car, and who cares if the Germans are going for something bigger later on, which they are. Maximizer is going for a truck, which means that he's going to have a Schwerpanzer. Clint Eastwood has tier 2, might want to go for tier 3, or sorry, Battle Phase 2 might want to go for Battle Phase 3. Same for the Germans. But the Germans overall, they're very, very late on attacking, despite their massive fuel lead, which is coming from Felix essentially forfeiting fighting. Because he has spent 1,000 manpower on caches. So, of course, you're going to have less manpower to actually build units to fight. And, yeah, the Germans are limiting themselves to light vehicles despite this, which is, well, a bit of a mistake. Nice usage of the PTRSs in the buildings. These 2 German, essentially light vehicles, don't have any anti-building weapons. Like, unlike a tank, which can do splash damage inside of the vehicle, these autocannons are very, very, very ineffective against units garrisoned. So this is well done by the Allies, using this building to their advantage. However, they're taking some... they're taking some losses in the center. 80 gun goes down, which was unsupported. Very big mistake to leave those anti-tank guns unsupported. And Felix finally charges in and gets a little bit of work done for his team. He's gonna try to escape with his anti-tank gun, and I think he's gonna be able to. I mean, this Pino squad has the PTRSs, so I don't think that they're gonna be able to really put out the firepower to destroy the ZIS-3. Or, sorry, the ZIS-3. Yeah. So other than essentially the German players conceding defeat by not building heavy tanks, Maximizer is going for the Schwerpanzer headquarters. Finally, support armor core by Clint Eastwood, and yeah, Kvas gets a T-34-76. Let's see about his allies. We have a tier 4 for HBDB. This name is still kind of weird for me. And Mechanized Armor Compagnie also coming out for K4OK. So paradoxically, the allies are getting those tier 4s earlier than the Germans are, which is absolutely puzzling. Honestly, the Germans could have gone with... Ooh. The T-34 pushes in very aggressively, actually. What I was about to say is that right now the Germans could probably have some medium vehicles. Well done by this T-34, gets in very, very close and tries to destroy the Lukes, but it might be a little bit too far away from its own lines. It took a Panzerfaust in the bottom, and now it's in trouble. As you can see, it's trying to chase down other German units. It wipes out a Grenadier squad in one shot. Just absolutely merciless show from the T-34. And destroys the Cube Wagon. So it's destroyed a Lukes, a Cube Wagon, a Grenadier squad. Probably paid for itself at this point, but perhaps should have been a little bit more defensively minded. It's gonna die to, eventually gonna die to Panzerfausts, because there's no way it can escape from this sort of surround by the German infantry. And here comes the other Panzerfaust. Yep. Yep, well done, and it's dead. If it hadn't been sacrificed that way, it could have helped in recapturing this sort of central and eastern VPs, because right now the Allies are taking a triple cap to the face, and it's not good for them. It's not looking good. There are 260 VPs. That means, well, Oops. That means 4 minutes, roughly, and they're gonna run out of EPs. At this point, yeah, the riflemen over here, these conscripts, just kind of folding the center. K4OK has been essentially using all of his forces to try to help out his allies in the center and the south. So at this point, as you can see, the left-hand side hasn't been pressured at all, which has allowed Felix to not only complete his fuel cache construction projects, he has also managed to finally get his units on the field and doing something for his allies. And that's showing against the Soviets, who are really getting pressured hard. They finally managed to recapture at least the right side of the map. We have the Schwerpanzer headquarters not really doing anything, and the third truck being purchased by Maximizer, which is going to get turned into a battle group headquarters, tells us that he's going for the KT. In the meantime, Clint Eastwood going for a P4, in fact 2 P4s, and of course he's waiting for the Elephant, whereas his ally Felix has gone for a Panther, and he's gonna have a command tank. So he's going with the more anti-vehicle focused strategy. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. Anyway, Panzer IVs try to come in and get some damage done, but they take an anti-tank grenade for their troubles. At this point, however, T-34 76s against Panzer IVs and Panthers, if the Germans can get a very nice coordinated push going, they're, well, gonna easily crush the Allies. But if we know anything from these casts, is that whenever someone just needs to gather up all their units and attack move into the enemy lines, it usually never happens this way. Right now, it looks like an MG42 is getting Katyusha. This MG42 has been a very, very big annoyance for the Allies, and I can imagine their frustration. In fact, it survives the Katyusha barrage. 2 kills, but not the crucial third one. It does not even destroy the building, which is very, very close to dying. Grenadiers just charging in alone and unsupported, with the Panzer IVs just kind of standing in the rear, taking some PTRS fire, but not really doing anything about it, is, well, allowing the Allies more time to prepare their defenses, and of course, killed a veteran Grenadier squad, which is never all that good. Panther, in the meantime, the anti-vehicle unit charges in against the machine gun. Oh, actually, no. There used to be a machine gun over here. It's just a conscript. It's just a conscript squad, however, which is even worse because this thing could throw anti-tank grenades at the Panther if it got out of the building, instead of at the part of the map where there's 2 T-34 76s kind of ravaging through the German infantry. So once again, a bit of a misplacement of forces by the Germans. Finally, that machine gun is gunned down in a blaze of glory by the Maxim, and right now this mortar is a terror. 25 kills. The Panther eventually manages to get a kill and force away these conscripts, mostly due to the fact that there was a Grenadier squad with an MG42 sitting just right outside. And right now, T-34 85, T-34 76, they're gonna face the big Papa Pump. Here comes the KT, as we expected by Maximizer. It was about as telegraphed as, well, about anything. Right now, it was about as telegraphed as the invasion of Poland. Haha, bad jokes. Anyway, right now, it seems like the Germans have just a massive superiority, right? So, in terms of pop cap, let's check this out. We have 36, okay, so 163? 163 versus 108. Well, 150. So, in pop cap, they're actually pretty similar. But in terms of units, 2 P4s, KT, Panther against a few T-34s and 1 Su-85. Actually, 2 Su-85s. So, the 2 Su-85s really are the linchpin against which these German tanks might be stopped. And yeah, as you can see, this Su-85 is really putting in the work against the Panzer IVs, but the KT is not caring and is just charging ahead. Where is the German infantry, however? They're lagging behind. There's 2 Oberstleutnant squads and 2 Volksgrenadier squads that could have been supporting this push with Panzerfaust against these vehicles and by taking out these Allied infantry units. If that had been the case, these tanks would definitely be in a better shape right now. And right now, the tanks are getting flanked by massive PTRS squads, which might be light, but it's still going to be a very big annoyance for these German panzers, who are going to have to pull back behind the support of these German units, German infantry units. thus slowing down their assault and allowing other allied forces more time to do their thing. As you can see up here, Su-85, T-34-76 doing their job. In the center, though, no attempts made at capturing the center means that the Germans still have 2 VPs to the Allies 0, and these squads are getting wiped on the retreat, by the Obersoldaten, gunned down like dogs. Right now in the north, yeah, T-34 is doing okay, but takes a nasty Panzerfaust to the face. So, well, if the Panther were to try to get in, it could probably get around this building so that the Su-85 could not shoot at it and then destroy the T-34-76 instead of eating shots to the face like it is right now. Oh well. Looks like we have some kind of airstrike coming in. And it's an allied one. It's the L2 Sturmovik attacks, actually doing quite well against the German infantry. Kvass looks like he has lost his T-34-76 in some way. Not sure how that's possible, but the oh, right, because it was the... Oh, right, his T-34-76 was this one. Anyway, he's got an Su-85. He's got a Katyusha, actually, which is a good idea. Wait, what? Right, it's the one that fired at the machine gun and didn't really do too much. Bye-bye, plane. And at this point... Well, what are the Germans doing? They're just spreading out all their tanks and not really doing too much. They could perhaps, like, just gather up all their vehicles and all their infantry. Well, maybe not all their infantry, but gather up all their vehicles in the center, attack, and try to flank around the right side. They could also just straight up rush the right side from, well, 1 or 2 directions, or even just from the front, and they'd probably win. Because still, I don't see how the Allies can counter this amount of German armor. If the Germans charge in, focus fire down the Su-85s, there's no chance. Although at this point with 3 Su-85s, it's starting to get pretty hard for the Germans to do that. So, well done by the Allies, just upgrading their anti-tank forces. I think just in time, because the Germans are really preparing themselves for a big push. 2 Panthers in the north. This is going to win against 1 Su-85, but the question is, are the 2 Panthers going to get used? Looks like yes. We have the flank coming in from Felix 17's Panther. In the meantime, in the south, we have a Panzer IV pushing in alone, which is a bit of a mistake. However, well done by Kvass, sending in his Su-85 to help. Might be a little bit too late, though. This Panther is in trouble. It's not on prioritized vehicles, so it shoots the MG for no reason. However, the Panther is nicely offering up its rear to the Su-85, and here comes a T-34 from the front. It's in fact a T-34-85 from Armored Assault, so this is gonna definitely destroy this one Panther. However, there's some smoke coming through. Other T-34-76 gets destroyed by the other Panther, but up here, yeah, the one Panther, ooh, Su-85 goes down to the Panzer IV, so a little bit of a escalation coming in. Well done by both sides. However, the Germans come out of it on top. There's a Sturmtiger in the south from Maximizer. We're going with Elite Armored. He could use his Königstiger to take shots for the Sturmtiger and then use the Sturmtiger to come in and blow up the Su-85s, but he's just moving up the Sturmtiger without support, which of course means that the Sturmtiger takes a lot of damage because of its inferior armor compared to the KT. However, nice Sturmtiger shell does stun the Su-85, but no follow-up from the German tanks means that the Su-85 can get back on the field. However, the Ostwind can finish it off. The Su-85s are ignoring the Ostwind, and that's going to be a bit of a mistake. Oh, well, KT just pushes up, so well done. Hits a mine with the Panzer IV. In the meantime, there's some kind of armor engagement going on over here. T-34-85 going to destroy the German tanks over here. And there goes the KT, getting flanked by the T-34-76, and decided to concentrate the fire on the T-34-76 rather than the Su-85s. One of the Su-85s going down to the Ostwind. There goes the Panzer IV over there. There goes the Panzer IV over here. At least the Panzer IV over here, no, it's just gonna die. So, all of the German tanks are dead except for one Panther, another Panther that was built, and the Sturmtiger. Clint Eastwood has a massive amount of manpower and fuel that he's saving up for the elephant. Oh my god. This is not looking too good for Germans. Yeah, and the Allies are using their advantage. They're pushing up with their vehicles. just you know, using their munitions, getting a lot of strikes in, and right now the Germans are falling back across the line. This is not good. The Sturmtiger is going to get repaired. It's got its shot actually, so it could try to delete something. And in fact, the Allies are down to 50 points, so they need to try to capture the central VP. There's machine guns and grenadiers defending it. However, the left-hand side is completely open, so what if any of these units were to come in on the left-hand side? Well, it would be pretty good for them. And right now, we have an Su-85 trying to charge in against the Sturmtiger. Sturmtiger does have a minimum firing range, so if the Sturmtiger gets essentially rushed by the Su-85, then the Su-85 can do quite well. And the Sturmtiger fires and misses. Bit of a miscalculation over there. Yep. And right now, the command tank is trying to push up, but that's not going to really do all that much. 2 Panthers damaged pushing up. That's definitely a mistake. Although they managed to help out in dealing with that T-34-85, so at least that's well done. The Suflak half-track pushes up in the center. Where are the armor-piercing rounds to destroy it? I do not know. The armor-piercing rounds are not happening, and this is allowing the German infantry to be destroyed. Elephant on the right side, finally from Clint Eastwood, manages to use his resources. Maximizer also has a lot of resources, but I think he might be waiting for another KT, which is fine, though. Use your manpower, please. Okay, he's getting some Sturm Pioneers, but he should use more manpower, please. Just to get some units on the field and continue putting in some VP pressure and map control pressure on the Allies. As you can see, the Allies are down to 30 VPs. And right now, yep, he has managed to allow his machine gun to get essentially wiped out by the Zusu Flak half-track, which means that it cannot defend the VP from the shock troops. And now the shock troops managed to neutralize the point at the VP at 25 points for the Allies. There's an LEFH gun in a very peculiar position right here in the center, which isn't really gonna do all that much. Perhaps this manpower should have been better spent into another machine gun and an anti-tank gun. For some reason, the Germans are not going for anti-tank guns. I mean, to be fair, the Allies really aren't either, but at least the Allies are going for some tank destroyers. So they do have some kind of defensive anti-tank measures, whereas the Germans really have been ignoring the anti-tank up until this Elephant. What is this Su-85 doing up here in the base? I have no idea. Anyway, Panzer IV comes in and destroys something. Elephant is going to defend it from the Su-85, and the Su-85 is, well, not going to be enough to protect the anti-tank gun from the Panzer IV, which means that the Elephant can then push up. However, the Elephant is in kind of a bad way. It's taking fire from the Su-85. It's also going to get flanked by this other Su-85. Where are the T-34s? They're back at base, so not the best. There goes all of this. There goes all of that. And, ooh, well done. Well done by the Sturmtiger. Gets a good shot, deafening everyone in, well, about a 100-mile radius. Right now, however, the Elephant is in trouble. Its engine is damaged, and so, of course, the Su-85 can push up and put some fire on the Sturm. But the Sturm is going to get away with it, and that was a good kill. Destroyed a valuable Su-85, and as I expected, here comes KT 2.0. Ooh, this Elephant is probably going to be able to destroy this. What is this Pak 40 doing? What are you doing? Well, it's good that he has a Pak 40, but I'm not sure what it is doing. It's going to help the Elephant, but it's not going to be enough. Well done by the Su-85. However, this one is actually abandoned, which might turn out well for one of the two sides. In fact, most likely the Allies. As the Pak 40 gets burned out and gifted to the Soviet troops over here. Well, rip plane. The plane was actually ripped by the 222 somehow. Yeah, well, anyway, let's check out the situation. The Allies have a triple cap, but they're down to 25 VPs, so, well, they're in a precarious spot to say the least. However, the Germans really are losing hard when it comes to map control, despite not really being inferior when it comes to units. Like, look at this. They do have pop cap. They have about 200, whereas the Allies have about 160. So the Germans have more units on the field in terms of value. The Germans have more armor on the field with P4, KT, Sturm Tiger, 2 Panthers, and the command tank versus, well, Su-85, 2 Su-85s, 1 T-34-85, and I think 1 T-34-76. Maybe no, yeah, 1 T-34-76. So not really much of a, well, advantage for the Allies. In fact, a disadvantage for the Allies, but the Germans, they're really allowing themselves to get piecemealed out, which is a shame for them because they have such a superior force. They should be the ones absolutely crushing. At least they get the kill on 1 Su-85, but right now their forces over here are essentially overextended. Panther hits a mine, Panzer IV had hit a mine earlier, so these 2 go down. Ooh, good trade for the Allies, isolating and destroying 2 German tanks. With the rest of the German forces just kind of standing by and watching and not doing much, especially the infantry. Where is the, you know, combined arms? Where is the infantry armor coordination? It's gone to hell. Well done by that Sturm Tiger. Knew that that sort of damaged Su-85 was there. Knew that the Allies might have been reclaiming it. So just kind of fires the rocket there and puts an end to that. At least something is going well for the Germans. That is the Sturm Tiger. But yeah, as you can see, the KT charges in alone. Of course, there's some infantry behind here. Why isn't the infantry pushing up ahead along with the KT? It would have been able to essentially force away that Su-85, scare them back with the threat of the Panzerfaust. Thus allowing the KT to push up as well. And with the Allies now owning the triple cap, and the Germans having 300 VPs, there's only 5 minutes left for the Germans to actually make a push. So what if the Germans were to simply just get pushed back all the time by their, well, inability to make one big, great, massive offensive with combined arms, with flanks, with essentially the use of all that they have, instead of throwing in their pieces piecemeal? Yeah, I feel like the Allies would have a little bit of trouble defending against that, especially if something like 2 players ganged up against 1, which, to be fair, the Germans have been doing quite okay at in terms of team coordination, and the Allies have been doing an acceptable job at it as well, considering I'm guessing that most of these guys are randoms, so at least this is going well for both sides. Still, why the Germans aren't gathering up their forces in one big push, it's kind of... well, it's kind of unknown to me. Look at that pack. Just kind of playing Ring Around the Rosie with the mill over here. Cube Benny Hill team. Anyway, so that was pretty well done, of course, by the Allies, stealing that Pack 40, which is going to be a nice sort of asset against the German heavy tanks. However, eventually that's gonna happen to it eventually. So well done by the Sturm Tiger. However, bit of a saturation of forces onto one target. Saturation of firepower, rather. Sturm Tiger blows up the building, and at the same time, the LEFH decided to fire at it. LEFH with only 1 kill, definitely being ineffective. Look at this defensive fortress by the Allies. All of these mines all over, all the anti-tank guns, the tanks, the infantry. So the Germans pushing up against this is gonna be very, very hard. In fact, the only chance that the Germans have is if the Panthers charge in and do something, but the mines are going to prevent this from being effective in any way. They're only getting saved by the fact that the anti-tank gun was trained on that Panzer IV command tank. But now that the anti-tank gun can fire at the damaged Panther, and the other Panther might just hit another mine or get anti-tank grenaded, yeah, it's not going to look well for this German push. In the meantime, in the center, it looks like no German forces managed to get anything done. However, opposed to that, we have not only an S2 being called in, something destroyed the howitzer. I'm not sure what. Maybe a Katyusha barrage. Well, the Katyusha is on cooldown, but it does not have any vehicles or buildings destroyed, so unlikely. No vehicles killed. Anyway, something killed that. So that's well done. There goes something. I heard it explode, but well, here comes something else. That is the S2 heavy tank. S2 heavy tank probably does not have any real counters to it right now on this left-hand side, which is not looking good for the Germans, because when they had complete superiority and just a crushing advantage, they didn't make use of it, and now the Allies are ahead because of this S2, so it's not looking all that good. So S2 gets a plastering hit on that Panther, and yeah, the German vehicles are going to have to escape. We have, of course, Kvass trying to push up to support his ally, which is well done. Looks like, actually, the yellow guy, HBDB, has been taking a lot of damage on the right side. Something has destroyed essentially everything that he had. Most likely a combination of the KT and Sturm. What is the Sturm? Up to 17 kills. And now he's trying to kind of just defend this whole area with 2 engineers, and he's being very, very effective at it with, what is this, like a 280 manpower? No, sorry. 140 plus 200 equals 340. 340 manpower against a King Tiger, an Obersoldaten squad, an anti-tank gun, a Volksgrenadier squad, a Sturm Tiger, a Sturm Pioneer squad, another anti-tank gun, possibly, another MG42 possibly, and he's defending against all of that with 2 engineers, so that's pretty impressive, I would say. Of course, that is because Maximizer is not pushing up for some insane reason. Anyway, Sturm Tiger is in trouble, but it's gonna just delete the Su-85. I don't see the Su-85 surviving this. In fact, it is not. However, the T-34-76 might make sure that the Sturm Tiger does not survive this. Here comes the smoke run from, of course, the German mechanized doctrine. Well done. This is confusing the hell out of the T-34, which is not using attack round. Here comes the Katyusha barrage. Not sure. I think it was expecting some kind of German infantry to come in here. We have a push from the shock troops trying to grenade some engineers. I wouldn't say that that's the best way to use your micro when the T-34 could be destroying the Sturm Tiger. The Sturm Tiger decides to reload in the middle of the smoke, but the smoke dissipates, and now the T-34 is, well, pumping rounds into the ass. However, here comes the turnaround of those 2 units up here. Here comes the rescue attempt by these German tanks, and they're gonna manage to essentially save the Sturm Tiger. However, here comes Sturmovik attack, which might do something to the Sturm Tiger. Probably not. In fact, it hits the buildings. Germans down to 75 points with the triple cap still going. What are the Germans doing? I would say the answer is nothing. This is a little bit hard to see, to be completely honest. They're not having a good day. Finally, they start to get a push together, but it's only 3 tanks with no infantry support, and it's not like they don't have any infantry left. As you can see, they have a lot of infantry just kind of standing around, not doing anything except for Clint Eastwood. But they do not support their vehicles. One Su-85 holds back a KT, an Elephant, and a Panther. Of course, the rest of the Allied forces also aren't doing anything. But what if they wake up and do something? Well, it's not going to be looking good for the Germans. Katyusha is like, ooh, I see the Elephant and I escape. And the Germans try to push up and capture the VP, but the Allied infantry there pushes in and prevents that from happening. In the meantime, on the left side, the German infantry is pushing up and capturing the left-hand side VP, but the overwhelming Allied superiority over here is going to put an end to this, most likely soon. Well done with that IL-2 Sturmovik strafing run, and in general, with that MG42 stolen, just operating in the area, no way that these German troops are capturing the VP. In the meantime, on the left-hand side, these 2 conscripts are going to recapture the VP for, you know, the motherland, and the S2 is going to defend that against the Panther, so it's probably going to be the end by VP. And the Elephant over here can't do anything against all this infantry. Absolutely nothing. In fact, it's just kind of taking plinks from the Penal Battalion, takes satchel charge, and would have died from the anti-tank gun. So, Germans not using combined arms, not, well, making big, grand pushes when they had the advantage, playing defensive, pushing in 1 or 2 units at a time. It's a story we've seen before. Well done by the Allies using their Su-85s to pretty good effect on a map like Angermünde, which is very, very laney, very easy to sort of funnel the enemy units into choke points. So it's perfect for units like the Su-85, just kind of, yeah, holding their units together up until the last and making use of them. And of course, also using their infantry, which are there for a reason. And the Germans just not really using their infantry at all. Like, even, let's see, of course, they lost a lot of units, the Allies did. But their veterancy somehow is better than what the Germans were able to come up with. Except for slightly Felix's Grenadiers. That's just sad to see completely. I mean, these are very, very good units that the Germans have, and they haven't used them to, I feel like, the effect that they could have been used. That's just kind of sad. So, well, that's going to be the end for now. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this, this cast. And I'm getting more replays than usual these days. So that's good. My standard practice usually, bit of a channel update. My standard practice usually is that I tell everybody when and the replay is going to be uploaded in my schedule, because I do have a schedule for uploading videos. And well, I just wanted to say that I'm pretty thankful that you're sending in the replays, and should probably continue doing so. As always, the link is in the description. And yeah, basically, another thing that I was kind of thinking of doing, but this is still kind of a project maybe for the future. Right now I'm kind of busy, is that maybe I could do some co-casting with some of you guys, especially like your own replays, so that I have a bit of a frame of reference for what someone was doing, so that we can analyze better like what a person was actually thinking. So yeah, but both that and just kind of regular co-casting with other people from my audience, just so that I can involve you guys a little bit better in the making of these casts, because I feel like some of you could put some input of your own and have some fun. So yeah, if you're kind of interested in that, yeah, do tell me. I was always open to basically suggestions and all of that. So yeah, make sure to drop that. So have a nice day.